from your intervention. And you know, it's funny that you talk about regular pathways. I will try to go to Lala actually to weigh on this. I know, Lala, before you were cut in, you're actually starting your sentence by saying, you know, people come documented to the country and they become undocumented. So maybe can we pick up on some of what Michelle said about regular pathways into your intervention, which with a specific focus on children and the situation of children. Lala, let's hope the internet connection works this time.
Yeah, I changed my connection, so hopefully I will be able to speak now and you can hear me. So as I was saying, like a lot of migrants, they become undocumented after entering regular pathways. And then because of, for example, if employers confiscate their documents, which is the practice in Lebanon, and they quit their job and the documents stay with the employer and they never get it back, or if they are not renewed, for example. So there are many reasons why migrant workers become undocumented. And then just to talk about children, that in these cases, children are they are directly affected by the lack of documentation of their parents. Because in this case, they're not able to register their children in the country, so they're not able to get residency permits. We try in our work like to assist these families and children. We try with the embassies of origin, because at least like to be registered with the embassies of origin to get nationality passport and stuff like that. But also there is a big challenge in that. It depends on the country of origin, but in some countries, for example, a mother cannot register her children on her name if the father is known. So they ask us to go to the father's nationality, but a lot of times the father is not there. We don't know where he is. The mother doesn't know where he is. So this is a big challenge, and the children stay undocumented and stateless, basically. If the father is unknown and there is no name of father anywhere, in that case, it is possible in some countries, like Lebanon, it's the same, to register the children and the name of the mother only if the father is unknown. That's the only case, which is really rare. I mean, it's not something common. So it is very difficult in these cases. I just wanted to share also, also there is something really important that in many cases we have seen that parents, mothers, or even fathers, like they deliberately don't declare their children to the Lebanese state, because it's been a few years that General Security in Lebanon has been issuing deportation orders for families or for women, basically, mostly women who have children in the country. So as soon as they go to declare about their child or to register to get residency permit for their child, when they are documented, they have the residency, they have everything legally, they have their work permit and everything, but that when they go and they try to declare their children to make residency permits for them, a deportation order is issued because according to General Security, migrant women are here to work and not to have families or to have children. So in this case, like we have seen, like many women, they just deliberately, like they don't declare that they have kids unless they are willing to go back. They're willing to leave the country. In that case, they do it. So there's no problem. But if they want to stay, they will not declare that. So the children stay without residency permits, which is also like, which comes with a lot of challenges regarding registering in schools, getting healthcare, getting a lot of services that would be very, very difficult for these women and their children. I just wanted to share also something that happened recently in Lebanon. In July, there has been a new decree from the General Security, I mean, something positive, that they have issued a decree saying that they allow like an amnesty to regularize the status of migrants in general. Sorry, they say Arabs and non-Arabs, Arabs and non-Arab migrants who are in Lebanon, who are living in irregularly, if you want. So this is what the decree says, who are irregular in the country. So they have said, like, from end of July until end of October, they have this 3 months to regularize their status. So even if they entered clandestinely, so they have entered without any visa or any work permit or whatever. So they are able to to regularize their status if they have an employer, of course. And then if their papers are expired, also they can apply for this regularization. Or if they want to change their employer, this is something new. So if they want to change their employer, they are able to do it without the permission or the approval of the previous employer. So this was not possible before. Before, you had to get the approval of the previous employer to change your employer, to change the employer to a new employer. So in this case, it is possible. And they also give 3 months, they give a temporary visa so that the worker can get a work permit during this period, and then they can get their residency after that. And they say, like, if the 3 months are not enough to find an employer and to get a work permit, they can extend it 2 more months. So in total, they have 5 months to find an employer and to apply for a work visa, and then they can go back and do their residency. So this is something we thought, like, it's really, it's positive, it's new. And I think it came after the economic crisis and the COVID-19 and everything, and everyone wanting to leave Lebanon, basically. So a lot of migrants, a lot of, most of migrants, they're now, like, a lot of them left, and many of them want to leave. So that's why we see, like, some reforms in Lebanon. Also, like, there was this proposition from the Minister of Labor of a new unified contract for domestic workers, where it also, like, gives the domestic worker the right to change employers without the consent of the previous employer, which was not possible before. And it also gives the domestic worker the right, it says, like, domestic worker has to have her documents or his documents with him or her at all times, with their possession, I mean, this was not the case before. Before, it was the employer who withheld all the documents. So now they say, like, very clearly that it has to be with the employer. With the migrant worker, the migrant worker is responsible for her or his documents. So these are new initiatives or new things from the government. I mean, they are steps. They are positive steps, but I mean, it's not enough, of course. And some people were talking, like, especially, like, from government, they're talking like this is the end of the kafala, but we are a bit skeptical about this. Like, it's not totally correct. I mean, there are small steps, but it's not the end of the kafala, of course. Like, we have a lot to do. There are a lot of steps to be taken yet, I mean, to reach there. Yeah, I think, I don't know, Rula, if I covered, like, your question, or is there anything else?
Yes, thank you, Lala. No, and I think there is something that you said which really kind of connects to what Pia was saying about being undocumented also as a choice, right? People not declaring their family members precisely because they exist within systems that does not make it possible for them to have families and then to enjoy these family rights. So undocumentation is a better choice in a very bad kind of a choice menu somehow, which is very interesting to hear. I was wondering, Lala, because you've touched on the whole question of, registration of birth, on requirements, and whether from Lebanon's side, but also from the countries of origins, side, in terms of who is allowed to register and under what conditions. Do you think there is a very high burden being placed on migrants, and does this burden need to be simplified? What needs to happen also with, on the destination side, but also on the countries of origin or the mission side of things?
Exactly. As I was mentioning, like, in many countries, the mother does not have the right to register or to give the nationality to her children. So this is a big challenge, and it is a big obstacle for mothers who have children in different countries, like to register. Or a lot of times they have to give up their children because they cannot take them with them when they leave the country. Also in Lebanon, like it's really complicated. When the child becomes over 1 year old, you need to have like a court decision, you need to have DNA tests, you need to have a lawyer. I mean, it's not something that a migrant can do on their own. So it is really like, it is complicated, and it is a difficult procedure. We have worked on this on several occasions, and we know that it is complicated, even for us, like as NGO, as we have lawyers on board, and it is complicated. It is hard. It's not easy process, and it takes a lot of time as well.
No, thanks very much, Lala. It's really sometimes just to look at the steps involved in some of these cases, it's really mind-blowing. So thank you for that, and hopefully we'll come back to you with some other questions.